For years, we've had AI coding assistants living right inside our IDEs, tools like VS Code or JetBrains. And they're great, right? They suggest code, they complete our thoughts. But something really interesting is happening. The biggest leap forward in AI development, it's not happening in some fancy new app. It's happening right back where so many of us started, the command line. So let's get into why developers are running back to the terminal and what this huge shift from AI suggesting things to AI doing things actually means for the future of software.
I know, that sounds totally backwards. We've all been taught that powerful software has to have a slick, graphical interface with tons of buttons and menus. But the most important breakthrough in AI tooling is happening where there are literally no buttons to click. That's because these new tools, they're not here to just chat with you about code. They're designed to execute. They're here to actually get things done. So let's start in a place we all know well. Tools like GitHub Copilot, they are genuinely amazing. It feels like you've got this super fast pair programmer sitting next to you. But if we're being honest, we've kind of hit a productivity ceiling with them. They make us faster typists for sure, but they don't really change the fundamental way we work. We are still the one in the driver's seat, doing all the manual work, and this is the big one. We are still constantly context switching. And that context switching, it has a staggering hidden cost. This is not just a little annoyance. Research from the University of California actually put a number on it, about $50,000 per developer per year. Yeah, that's what it costs in lost productivity when we jump from our IDE over to a web browser to check some docs, then pop open ChatGPT to ask a question, and then try to find our way back to where we were in the code. It is a massive invisible tax on our focus.
This right here, this is what I call the productivity killing cycle. You hit a wall, you switch apps to find an answer, you copy-paste something back, and then comes the truly brutal part, trying to rebuild your focus. That same research shows it takes an average of 23 minutes to get back into that deep work flow state after you've been interrupted. This isn't just about wasting a few minutes, it's about systematically shattering the very mental state we need to solve hard problems.
So this brings us to the core idea, the really fundamental shift that's happening. We are moving from an AI that works as a suggestion engine to an AI that acts as an execution agent. It's the difference between asking, hey, what code do you think I should write? And saying, here's a task, go complete it. This is the leap into what we call agency, the AI's ability to take action on its own, on our behalf. And its natural habitat is the command line interface, the CLI. A CLI-based AI agent isn't just another chatbot in a black window. It is a program that can run shell commands, it can edit files all across your project, it can manage your Git history, and it can even run tests to check if its own work is correct. To put it simply, it has hands. This quote just nails it. IDE agents are for suggestion, CLI agents are for delegation. Let me put it another way. Your IDE assistant is like a pair programmer. Your CLI agent, that's more like a junior developer. You don't ask a junior dev what the next line of code should be, you give them a task, a ticket, and you trust them to figure out the implementation details and get it done. Let's break this down even more, side by side. Look at the workflow. With an IDE agent, it's a constant back and forth. You're always in the loop, visually checking everything. With a CLI agent, it's fire and forget. You give it a job and let it run. So how does it verify its work? Not with your eyes. It verifies with the exit codes from automated tests. Its source of truth isn't just what file you happen to have open, it's the entire file system. That makes it unbelievably powerful for complex changes that touch dozens of files. But that leads a huge question, right? Why the terminal? It feels old school. It's a throwback. So why is this decades-old text-based interface the perfect home for the most advanced AI we have? Well, funny enough, the answer lies in a philosophy that's about half a century old. You see, the Unix philosophy is built on these principles that feel like they were tailor-made for AI. It's all about having small, sharp tools that do one thing really well, and then being able to chain them together. It uses text as the universal language for everything, which, what a coincidence, is the native language of large language models. This whole idea of narrow doors leading to large rooms, where simple, predictable inputs can unlock powerful, complex results, is the perfect foundation for an AI agent to reliably build complex workflows. And here's another critical reason: context. ID agents suffer from something I call context pollution. They just get bogged down by your entire chat history, every single file you have open, all these other signals. Over time, all that noise degrades their performance. CLI agents, on the other hand, they practice what's called progressive disclosure. Every task starts fresh, with a clean slate. It only loads these specific files and context it needs for the job right in front of it. That surgical approach is what keeps performance high, and the results super reliable. And this might be the most powerful piece of the whole puzzle. It's the self-healing loop. The terminal gives the AI a simple, rock-solid feedback mechanism. A command fails, it returns a non-zero exit code and spits out an error message. The agent doesn't need you to tell it something broke. It sees the failure, it reads the error, it figures out a fix, applies it, and then reruns the test to prove it worked. It is a completely autonomous debugging cycle.
Okay, so this isn't just about helping individual developers code faster. This whole agentic model is starting to totally reshape our DevOps pipelines. We're witnessing the evolution from the CI/CD we all know and love to something, well, something new. Welcome to the era of CACD, Continuous Agentic Continuous Deployment. This is the next step beyond CI/CD. Instead of just running a bunch of predefined scripts, we are now embedding these autonomous agents directly into the pipeline. These agents can look at their environment, they can reason about complex failures, and they can make intelligent decisions to manage the entire delivery lifecycle. The pipelines are becoming self-optimizing systems. All right, giving an AI hands that can execute any command on our computers, it's obviously incredibly powerful. But with that kind of power comes a massive, massive responsibility. This opens up a whole new class of security risks that we, as engineers, have to get right. There is no room for error here. This quote from the security team at Auth0 is something we all need to internalize. We have to make a mental shift. An AI agent running on your machine, it's not a model anymore. It is a new security principle. Think of it as a new non-human user on your system with the power to read your files and take actions. We have to treat it with the same level of caution we would a new teammate getting production access for the first time. So, how do we actually do this safely? Here's a practical 5-step checklist. Number 1, sandbox. Always run the agent inside a container or a VM. Never, ever just run it from your home folder. Isolate it. 2, use allow lists. Don't give it the keys to the kingdom. Explicitly define what commands it can run and what files it's allowed to touch. 3, manage secrets. Never let it read your SSH keys. Use scoped, short-lived tokens for any authentication it needs. 4, audit and log. Keep detailed logs of every single action the agent takes so you always have a trail. And finally, 5, isolate your bots. A bot for your personal work is just that, personal. Never add a bot with your credentials to a shared company environment. So when you take this incredible power of delegation, you add in these self-healing automation loops, and you wrap it all in a strong security posture, well, it all points to a really profound shift in what it even means to be a software developer anymore. Our job is fundamentally moving up the stack. We're shifting from being the people down in the trenches writing every single line of code to becoming orchestrators. Our job is becoming about defining the high-level architecture, setting the goals, and then overseeing a team of specialized AI agents that go and handle the nitty-gritty of implementation, testing, and even deployment. And that just brings us completely full circle. I love this quote. Unix was a love letter to agents. It just took 50 years for the recipients to arrive. The foundational ideas of computing, built on small, composable, text-based tools, were, in a way, just waiting. They were waiting for something that could finally read the instructions, understand all the tools, and put them together to achieve a goal. Well, the agents are finally here. And all of this leaves us with the one big, crucial question. The power of these tools is undeniable, but using them requires a whole new level of trust and a really rigorous approach to safety. So I'm going to leave you with this to chew on. After seeing what these agents can do and understanding the risks, would you trust one to run commands on your system? Let me know what you think down in the comments.